forces. Okay, so basically these 5 forces are going to be useful for the entire course, and even when you go to some other courses which I just mentioned in the earlier part of the lecture. So these 5 forces. So let's take this one. So remember the 5-star bar which was pulled apart. Now that's called tension. Okay. Again, tension is something which we don't really like, but yeah, I think the object that you're going to use is also gonna hate tension. Okay. Predominantly, you're going to apply it to steel or any other metal that we will be talking about maybe in the stress strain curve. So mostly tension will be experienced by these 2 things in this course. Now coming to the next one, which is called the compression. Now this again, all these terms which we will use are going to be something relatable to your real life stuff. So compression is like just the opposite of tension. Okay, so you're pulling it apart. I'll just write it down. Pulling it apart. Here you are going to apply it like this. So you're going to push it inward. Okay, pulling it apart and push it inward. That is going to be what you experience in compression, and that will come in something called concrete. So concrete is a very important material when it comes to structural engineering or even civil engineering. In fact, anyone living in a framed structure is going to know what concrete is. So what we will do is we'll associate compression with concrete, tension with steel, right? So this is how you denote tension: pulling it apart, pushing it inward. That's compression. Okay, these 2 forces are otherwise called as axial forces, which we will deal with. Just note it down for the time being. Let's understand how it all works, and then we'll move on to what axial forces are all about. Okay, now coming to the third one, which is called shear. Okay, so this is a term which you would have done every single day, but you will not know that this force is called shear force. Now, how do I say this? If you take a paper and try to tear it apart, that's shear. If you take a trimmer, you trim your beard, you trim your hair, that's shear again. Okay, so it's actually something like this. When you have a piece of paper and you are going to use your fingers to tear it at one side, and the other hand you're going to tear it on this side. So that's how shear force will come at the center, right? That's how shear force will be experienced. Now this is again, you just imagine you're tearing a piece of paper. You use both hands and you are going to use it in opposite direction, and that's called a shear force. When it comes to shear civil engineering terms, you have a bolt like this. Okay, bolt will have a shank, and it will also have a certain area like where it has these corrugations, which gives it friction. Okay, so actually this will be inside a plate. Now the bolt will experience shear force like this, and that's how it breaks. Okay, so that's another example of a shear force, right? Hope you understood. So now coming to the fourth one, which is called bending. What is bending? Take a steel scale. You apply force in the middle. What happens to a steel scale? It just bends dramatically. That actually is bending. That literally is bending. You need not confuse yourself with any other force. So bending is just taking a steel scale like this, and you apply a load at the middle. It will start to bend like this. Okay, we will talk about more of these problems in the coming future. Coming to torsion, this is a tricky part. Okay, torsion and its example. You can think of it like Think of it like a pencil and a sharpener. You're gonna insert the pencil into the sharpener and you're gonna twist it. Okay, you're gonna twist it so that it gets sharpened and you can use it for some other purpose. So that's an example for a torsion or a torque that you apply. This is very important for mechanical engineers because torsion torque is something which you use for engines and all sort of stuff. So these are the 5 different forces that you will be using in day-to-day life. Anything that you are going to do, you're going to end up in something like one of these forces. So again, pulling it apart, tension, pushing it inward, and compression. Then a piece of paper is shear, bending is the steel scale that you use, and torsion is the sharpener and the pencil thing. Okay, so that's the end of this lecture. Hope you are able to follow what stress, strain, and different types of forces are. Happy to help if there is any trouble understanding any of the concepts. Let me come back in the next lecture with stress strain curve. Thank you so much.